Jakob Chychrun has signed an 8-year, $72 million extension with the Washington Capitals. Let's go ahead and break it down and talk about it and discuss it. I know it's not Canucks related, but it's news. So Washington has locked up a solid defenseman for the foreseeable future. Let's actually start off by going over Chychrun's stats real quick here. Let's bring that up. Um, right now, Chychrun has 18 goals, 26 assists, 44 points in 66 games. He's projected to have a career high in goals, assists, and points. So he's having a career year, which explains the extension from the Capitals. So he's getting a big payday. But he's projected to finish with 21 goals, 30 assists, 51 points in 77 games. And honestly, Chychrun's emerged as a top defenseman in the NHL. Um, I actually happen to have Chychrun in a few of my fantasy leagues. I believe in, I want to say one of them, I definitely drafted him. So, because I saw the points he put up last season, I was like, okay, I really need to, you know, set up my defense to be solid. And it's usually a strategy that I usually do every year. I try and have a solid defense. Um, or I usually try and get defensemen who put up a lot of points. I do my best to draft them early. Same thing with goalies. That's also a strategy that I have. Is I try and pick a goalie within the first 3 rounds, at least 2 starters and a backup. So little, fantasy, a little free fantasy tip there for those of you that do fantasy hockey. Um, but yeah, so moving back to Chychrun, um, last season, the season before that with the Senators, his last with the Senators, he finished with 14 goals, 27 assists, 41 points in 82 games. So he played the full season. And then 12 games with the Senators, he had 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. And then earlier that season, as he ended up being traded from Arizona to Ottawa, he had 7 goals, 21 assists, and 28 points in 36 games. As you can see here, going back down, he's definitely in the last 3 years become a top. Sorry, just about knocked my mic over. He's become a top defenseman. He's a two-way defenseman. And you can really see with the goals, at least the last few years, the guy can shoot the puck and the guy can put the puck in the net. He's a big guy too, a big tall guy as well. But I'm just surprised at how much offense he has. So, and I think this really turns out really well for the Caps, as they already have John Carlson, who's a top defenseman. Obviously, he's got a good partner. Actually, I don't know exactly. Those of you that are Washington Capital fans want to go ahead and correct me in the comments, go right ahead. But I do believe that both Chychrun and Carlson are their top pairing. Once again, correct me if I'm wrong, as I don't fully follow the Capitals. But yeah, let's move over to his current contract and just talk more about the contract as opposed to his stats. So his current contract, he's in year 6 of 6 with a cap hit of 4.6. And that was his current contract. So he's, as we mentioned, he's getting a massive payday. As of this new contract, he's making more money than Quinn Hughes. Obviously, this could potentially look like something that Quinn Hughes might get, in a couple of years. Possibly Hughes might get more money. Who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we cross it. But he signed his current contract when he was 27 years old. Or no. Sorry. He's 26 right now. But this new 8-year contract will expire in his age 35 season. Sorry about that little miscue. But let's look at his new contract and more details in regards to it. So Chychrun signed a 8-year, $72 million contract extension with a cap hit of $9 million. Contract was signed yesterday and expires in the 2032-2033 season when Chychrun will be 35. But looking at the cap hit, obviously $9 million. The base is 4 in the first season, so technically as of next season, and then it goes up to 4.25, then goes back down to 4 again in 28-29, and then the contract, the base salary goes down to 3.5 in 29-30, 2030-31, and then it goes back up to 4 in 2031, 2032, and then goes down to 3.75 in the final year of the contract, at least the base salary. He does have some signing bonuses here. He's got a $7 million signing bonus for that first year, and then a $4 million bonus, and then a $7 million bonus, and then 6, 4, 3, and then 3 to round out the contract. He does have a full no move clause in the first 2 years of the season, and then starting in the first 2 seasons he's got a full no move, and then the third year of the contract he's got a full no move, a no move, and a modified trade clause, and then that eventually turns into a modified trade clause for the remainder of the contract. So good on Washington for making sure, or rather for locking down, their defense with Jakob Chychrun. Obviously, it makes you wonder, if he's going to be able to keep up at this pace when it comes to his offense. I don't know too much about his defensive play, as I mainly obviously use him, at least in fantasy, for offense. That's what I rely on. But overall, this is a good move from the Capitals, but it also makes you wonder if the contract is going to age well, especially later on in the contract. But good on the Caps for locking him up. I do think he was a steal for them when they acquired him. Last season? I believe it was the deadline. Let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, I believe he was acquired at the deadline last year by Washington from Ottawa. So obviously that trade turned out to be a golden goose for the Capitals. And then now that they've signed him to an extension, it looks even better. But let's look at that's going to do it for this video. Actually, just a little bit of a shorter one. I also just want to mention our last 2 videos. I did not realize when I had the articles up that there was no audio. Hopefully I've fixed that for this. I was unable to try and edit and fix that, unfortunately, which is a drag. I'm still adjusting to using StreamYard. I was previously using Riverside, and I think I might actually switch over to StreamYard permanently, as I just like the setup, and especially for when we're talking about articles, having it on the screen, it's a lot easier to do. I just need to get more familiar with StreamYard, that's all. So once again, apologies for that. And then, yeah, if you're looking to be a part of the conversation, give us a follow on all social media platforms. As you can see on the screen there, we're on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and Discord. The Discord actually is free to join. So go ahead and, as I mentioned, be a part of the conversation. The link will be in the description down below. So yeah, go ahead and join the Discord server. I have it all set up, and let's have some great conversations and talk all things Canucks. As I mentioned, it's completely free. It won't charge you anything. We do have a Patreon section on the Discord for Patreon members. If you're looking to, as I mentioned in a previous video, that we're going to be starting a weekly mailbag soon. Those of you that join the Patreon will get a Patreon bump when it comes to the mailbag, as your questions will be at the head of the queue and will for sure be answered on the podcast. So go ahead and join Patreon. That is one tier that I've come up with. Obviously, and yeah, so yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Obviously, later tonight, we're going to have our live stream after the Canucks versus Islanders game. That starts at 8 o'clock Pacific time, and I'm really looking forward to that. I have that all set up already. And yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.